Here, you want to call the take, Leanne?
No, I don't know what to say. Today, I want to talk to you about the 3 biggest challenges planning a wedding. If you recently got engaged and you're just starting wedding planning, basically, I want you to have some heads up of what to watch for so you're not caught off guard. Here's my top 3 challenges to wedding planning. First, budgeting. Almost everyone has to plan ahead for their wedding spending. There are very few people who have the luxury of unlimited spending for their wedding. I would not be one of those, and most of my clients are not those kind of folks. It is awesome if you have that luxury that you can just not worry about what things cost, but most people are not in that boat. If you have to focus on the budget, you want to do it at the beginning of your planning process. You want to be careful that you figure out what you can invest in your event ahead of time before you book anything. Because what's really challenging is when you find, say, a venue that you love or a photographer that you cannot live without, and those pieces of the puzzle are too much for what you need to do for your budget. So keep in mind that this part, it's gonna be hard. It usually is for everyone, but you can do it if you start right at the beginning, focused on that piece of things, and try then to only look at options that are affordable for you in your budget. So that's the first thing, work on budget. So the second thing that you want to focus on that can be challenging is managing your guest list. So there's a few different parts about this. Your initial guest list management is going to come when you are deciding who to invite. That can be traditionally very challenging because you probably have limited space. You're trying to combine different groups on both sides of your family and friends. Then it becomes harder a little bit later in the process when you're trying to manage your RSVPs. I have so many clients who end up having to track down RSVPs from a lot of their guests, and that's not uncommon. So managing the RSVPs at that point, it's a different kind of challenge, but it still is difficult. Don't be afraid to text people, email them, shoot them a Facebook message or an Instagram message and say, hey, are you coming to my wedding? I need to know. Because that leads you into the next part of this that's a little bit challenging, which is finding and figuring out where everyone is gonna sit. Seating chart planning can be really tough. So just give yourself plenty of time for that task. If you have to, back up your RSVP date a little bit ahead of when you need to tell your caterer or venue manager how many people you're having so that you can have more time to work on your seating chart, because that part can be tricky too. It's like a puzzle and you're trying to fit everybody in to a spot where they'll have an enjoyable dinner and where the groups make sense for your table sizes. So it can be tough. So the last thing that can be challenging as it relates to planning your wedding is all of the feelings that are out there. Not only do you have to work with each other about everything you're feeling in this process, but weddings also bring out a lot of emotions in your family and friends. Sometimes people have expectations that they want certain things to happen or they want you to do certain things for them or for your wedding. So navigating all of that can be tough. So give yourself some time and patience. Try to find the right way to work with folks who are being challenging as it relates to your wedding. Try to keep in mind that it really is about the two of you being with all the people you love in a special place for this special day, and stay focused on that if you can, because it can get tough to kind of wade through all of those feelings. So there you have it. Those are my 3 things that I think can be challenging in the wedding planning process. Even though they're challenging, now you have a heads up so you can plan ahead, and when you get to those spots, just know already that you can get through it and you're going to get to a great wedding day. Now that you know the challenges of planning a wedding, click the video on screen to learn the best parts of planning a wedding.